Yes, it's me. Your friendly neighborhood whisperer. What's up? I don't know what's up. What's up? How many things are going to be on this week? Facebook wants to throw us off. I guess throw us off. You guys want to listen to Peter Paul and Mary again? It's about the railroad. Alexa, play Peter Paul and Mary 500 Miles.
500 Miles by Peter, Paul, and Mary on Amazon Music. If you miss the train I'm on, you will know that I am gone. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles. Lord, I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home. 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles. Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home. Not a shirt on my back, not a penny to my name. Lord, I can't go this away. This away. This
the success of their economy, for the enthusiasm of their young people to democracy, and others as well, but the young, nothing else from Taiwan. So that was their
Facebook is mad about us tonight.
They didn't do it on the Senate floor. Chairman Menendez of the Foreign Relations Committee, they just decided to do it.
Copyrights.
So in any event, we're very proud of our delegation. We're very proud of our men and women in uniform. When I talk about security, whether it was a Travis Air Force Base, whether it was in Hawaii, we visited them and went to the Arizona,
that's not even writing or discovery for our
and then to Guam on our way to pay our, get their appraisal of the situation in the region,
It is
the
play. We're
Pacific,
talking
and
about
also to pay our respects to our men and women,
you have to
which
talk
we
to
did
the curriculum.
there, and we did in the countries that we visited,
Especially
especially in
I know law and
Korea
medicine.
and Japan. And in
Law
Korea,
and medicine.
we had the privilege, led by the General Bakamura, to go
That's
to
odd.
the
Whatever
GMC to
music
get an up-to-date current
play.
report of the
It is play.
North-South dynamic.
They want a lot of
in
play
Korea. It
to
was interesting to
celebrate
read, but I've been to
something.
Pyongyang, I've been to North
We won't
Korea,
let them celebrate
all over
something
the
so
place,
much.
again, we were seeing where
Well, quite a
the
bit.
border, how things
Yeah,
were going. So for these and other
Cost in
reasons,
terms of
we were very honored to be received. We thank our host, the host countries. We spent a good deal of time in an interparliamentary way in every country with their speakers.
Not to be like, but not
and
that.
again,
They keep
thank
saying
our
things are alive and they're
embassies
not.
and our
This is
diplomatic vets who represent us,
So
so
like, I hope we got a good,
why
like,
is it such a
open,
success?
whatever.
Just close by saying to think, when we were in
We have a good
Japan,
open food
we were
sector.
beautifully welcomed at the Diet. We went there to pay our respects to Prime Minister Abe, who was a friend of
As far
America.
as like school
And
starting,
they had a
white
there
guys just don't,
tribute,
they
they'll
have a
have more
neighborhood.
of this one.
We'll do
They
school in the
invited
neighborhood.
us
We don't get on the bus. They,
It was
we won't
very
go on the
sad,
bus.
but again, a connection
It's just
between our
one
two
neighborhood.
countries. And in closing, I just want to
Just
thank
sending
our
kids
president.
out to whatever,
He's been a
Barrett
president
Park,
for
at the
peace,
same
for
time.
security, for economic
We'll send the
growth,
kids out
for
at the same
governance.
time.
I'm very proud of his initiative, which was the main purpose of our visit and our time. With that, I want
Pretty
to
much
ask our
vacant for,
distinguished chair of the
50
Foreign Relations
years.
Committee, excuse me,
We still use
that's the
it.
same, the Foreign Affairs
Water.
Committee,
We'll water
and
it.
the place where so much of all of this begins.
They didn't
Thank
water
you for
the same
his
house
commitment to
more
our-
than it was.
to
And they
our
played
security, our economic success,
soccer and baseball.
governance in all of the
They,
countries
they
that
wouldn't water
we are engaged with. Mr. Chairman,
it.
right, we need something new.
Yeah, that's Sam.
I want to thank you, Madam
Yeah,
Speaker,
Sam.
for the opportunity to participate
Yeah, that's Sam Hurst.
in this very
Looks like
important,
you guys are watering that.
very substantial,
Water.
and very successful CODEL.
It's not
It
fancy,
was
you guys could, you know,
important.
sell it out there.
for us to be there in the region.
Okay, it's
the
not
people
France, but we can
of the
sell it
region
like it there.
Wanted to see us there. They
can like
understand that part of what is taking place in the world
hanging outside or
is,
whatever.
as we see from
I don't
place
know how to
after
keep it
place,
far out of it.
it's a question of democracy
There's a lot out there.
versus
I just don't want you
an autocratic
to
government.
on the grass.
And they want to know that we are
I'll
part of
just
this.
roll back it up and go.
And that's why they welcomed us at every stop that we went to. Saying thank you for
So
being
Chris
here.
Hodge used to come up there,
Whether it was
some guy
Taiwan,
verbally.
South Korea, Japan, Singapore, or
Okay, Chris
Malaysia.
Hodge used to come up there. And some
In
guy
Taiwan,
verbally
we saw
assaulted.
people lined up down the
Number of girls
streets,
used to come up there.
over 250,000 people watching our flight land. And then the crowds in the streets saying thank you for coming.
You know, high riding.
We had the opportunity to talk and to have conversation with
That's
various
cool.
of our legislators,
Children
which
play.
was really important. And we had to then
That's
chat
like
back
a
and
hot
forth on what we're doing.
I mean,
And I had the opportunity as chair of
Really
the
hot.
Foreign Affairs Committee to let them know that we're
I
doing
guess
anything,
that stuff.
particularly in regards to Taiwan. We've got some bills that are coming out or that have passed already, like the Taiwan Peace and Stability
They
Act.
have the flaming tires.
They
like
were
the
interested
bags.
to know that, like the Taiwan Fellowship Act, and the Taiwan Reassurance Act, and provisions supporting the name change of TACRO to the Taiwan Representative Office in the United
They
States.
say it's like whatever.
Again,
They're trying to be.
it is not us who want to change the status quo.
Side investors.
We see that coming
They
from
want to
Beijing,
train to be side investors too.
and they were so
Go
appreciative
get paid to do that.
that we
Yeah,
stood
go get paid.
to show that we're going to partner with our friends and allies throughout the region.
Yeah, go get paid.
They all have issues, whether it's the South China Sea or the Taiwan Strait.
Full of you. You know, they
But
tore it out.
They want to know that we are there,
Jim's still there.
and they want to see even our soft power. And that's why the conversation that you see with my
Trying to
fellow
you really
members,
want to get good national
and they'll
strength,
talk about
just go in there.
whether
and
we're
try
working
water.
with our veterans or dealing with climate or dealing with
I wanna give you
what
good
was
national
historic,
strength,
efforts
just
to
go in
chips
there
and
water.
exchanges and dealing with
You don't have to do like all
manufacturing
that
goods in the
swimming.
United States.
Just sit in there and tread water
I
until.
conclude just by saying
Let's
that.
tread water as long as I want.
And I thank President Biden also for being in the region. He's visited the region and done another thing. So we're in lockstep with our focus and our
Everybody
message
monitor there.
to the people in
I'll have some
Southeast
friends
Asia
there with me.
that you have a friend, an ally, and a partner
I don't like it too much.
in the United States of America.
But
And
anyway,
we called
that's
to
how you
ask
guys
us to
survive
come
the shipwreck.
to visit you as we did on
It is
this
how you
trip.
guys survive the shipwreck.
We'll be there.
Tread water.
So with that, I just turn it over to the chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Chairman Mark DeCarlo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kind of call each other, Mr. Chairman.
Congrats,
When we first became chairman, we were in a single bill.
Everybody has a good life.
Mr. Chairman. So good
Everybody
afternoon.
can life job.
I am Mark DeCarlo, I chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee, and I was honored to attend
this congressional
Everybody
delegation.
doesn't always have much.
Would be a part of the congressional delegation and speak to us, our colleagues here today. While we were abroad, there was interest with our defense and security allies and partners. Some are allies and some are partners. Interesting enough, we visited all very, very robust, inspiring democracies. Some of those democracies have a quote-unquote balanced approach with China. They don't really want the United States to force them to choose sides. But interesting enough, even those that don't want to be forced to choose sides are very, very, very interested in the United States being their security.
He's going to try to relate to me, my letter of instructions.
We help them with military armaments and training. We train together. And of course, they were interested in what we do with our veterans. I had a long, extensive talk with the defense minister of Malaysia on that topic. I had a chance to speak with, for a second time,
It is about these people
for veterans and patriots of South Korea. We're very interested in moving forward more work on the Korean Valor Act, which was included in the recently passed fiscal 23 NDAA. The Valor Act.
That's not
So
right.
it has to,
Toro,
I don't want to get into details yet, but it has to do
Put it
with
in a bag.
naturalized Korean American veterans.
Yeah, well, I thought it's the
How
matters.
we can serve them
I
better.
mean, a way it is.
We had a chance to, wherever we could, bring
Cooked
up
it
the
real
issue
well.
of human rights, but also I believe that
Kind of
the health of,
bad.
and we visit all democracies,
I guess that
that
made it worse.
the health of any democracy
It's
is
slowly
measured by how
It's
well it
slowly
protects
more.
its vulnerable minorities, in contrast to the authoritarian countries that Mr. Meeks mentioned.
There's raccoons out
So
there.
we raised the issue of how well are your vulnerable minorities being treated, as well, including LGBTQ people. So
I
we
want that.
raised that in countries where that topic
That's
is
why I don't want to.
is not necessarily one that's very
We're
comfortable.
all insect related.
But
Birds
interesting
will eat
enough, I think there was actually
Birds, if
a
it's all
willingness to
insects,
talk and
you
a
know,
willingness to discuss
Drive
this.
the birds away.
Just last
It's like
night,
purple
as an after effect of this CODEL,
Purple
I
birds
was on a
specialize
virtual,
in mosquitoes.
a virtual discussion, a virtual
That's like
interparliamentary
main
discussion with
It is.
Japanese and Korean parliamentarians in South Korea.
They can be John baptized, I'm John Baptist, it's purple sash.
Amazing,
Okay,
the impact of this trip was very evident. Huge openness
Purple
to
birds specialize in mosquitoes. I just, I don't know what we're talking about so bad. We'll put you back. Oh, why do you do that? Hey, we don't want it to be dysfunctional. Hey, we didn't want to let them carry out their agenda. No, we're like, sorry, guys. That's something else.
The story this morning on the push to bring back a proud tradition. There's a man we'd like you to meet. His name is Moody.
What you're gonna do is open the door on the oyster. All right.
Both literally
All right. Here you go.
and metaphorically. Moody's mission, if you will, is to bring oysters back to the streets of New York.
We didn't have hot dogs back in the days. People were selling the oysters.
True fact. Moody explains that more than a century ago, oyster carts were omnipresent in the city. One of the most prominent oyster purveyors was a black man named Thomas Downey, famous for his downtown oyster house.
So that was the culture that built America, was black people on the water doing maritime work.
New York Harbor and connecting estuaries were the most abundant oyster habitat in the world. Pollution, industrial and human, put a stop to that. Today, a group called the Billion Oyster Project is restoring oyster reefs in New York Harbor. The remarkable bivalves filter 50 gallons of water a day, which helps the harbor clean up its act. and Moody is happy to be part of that mission, all the while bringing oysters back to the boroughs, on the streets of Brooklyn, and on weekends, Governor's Island, serving mollusks to the masses.
I think it pretty represents like New York summer, so it's a nice treat.
Moody adorns his oysters with the perfect garnish.
Smith apple.
And during our visit, we ate more than a few. I'm sorry, I gotta have some more oysters.
Let's go.
Right? Harry Smith, NBC News, Brooklyn.
Wow. First of all, we love this story. The history of it is such a
Absolutely.
rich, interesting history that so many of us didn't know.
Was not aware of that at all. And Harry clearly had a very good time too.
Exactly. And can we say the name on the cart was Mother Shuckers?
I don't know if you
Carefully.
Yeah, carefully, yeah. Possibly career-ending situation, but cool.
Love that story. It's such an interesting historical thing, but of course the climate impact part of
Absolutely.
it. You know, they're really good for our waterways. So I love that. All right, guys, we've got some rain coming our way, and for some of us down the shore already, Ocean County, a lot of heavy rainfall. No warnings with this. Some lightning and thunder, but yeah, you can see all the shades of red and orange here headed toward Neptune. Rick, another round of some spotty showers. So in the next hour or so, this will start to move through and clear the coast. We're starting to see some spotty rain showers through Middlesex County too, and could catch up with Staten Island, the city, Lower Hudson Valley, and Long Island with some patchy light rain showers. But you can see by 8, 9 this morning, most of that is out of here. Then we wait for that cold front that touches off some more showers and maybe a few thunderstorms heading into the late evening and early tomorrow morning. Again, that's what we're waiting on to really change things up and get things really more comfortable. But it is definitely still humid, 76 degrees, and all of that low cloudiness. The view from one of our Times Square cameras, dew point still at 70. So yeah, we can't say that we've had that nice, comfy, dry air move in. If you're about ready to grab the leash and head out too for that dog walking time in your family, we've got showers expected through this morning. This is my sweet Kona, by the way. It's her birthday today, guys. It's her birthday. She turns 5 today. Yes,
birthday.
so we have a day full of belly rubs and good treats. But definitely keeping her cool too, because it's still rather warm and muggy today. Up to 87 degrees, 90 in Newark. Will be into the upper 80s even through the Hudson Valley. So yes, it's that front we're waiting to come on through. High pressure still on track for the weekend. That keeps us nice and dry and comfortable. But we do a little switch around here. That area of low pressure, it gets a little hung up here. So we have potentially a really soaking kind of rain headed our way early next week, which is a really good thing because season to date we continue to run a deficit. Of course, last year we were factoring in some tropical systems, which is not an issue, still isn't for our area. So we could use that rain. And as you see, once we get past the next few days, it's pretty unsettled. Showers and storms just about every day, at least the chance for them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. All right, 5:47, and that's a look at your 10-day. Let's get to traffic now. Emily, what's going on?
Give your dummy an extra treat for me. Happy birthday. It's so sweet. All right, we do have delays in Queens, LIE, and Woodhaven Boulevard. Usual stuff. Plus, on Long Island, Wisconsin Highway, got an accident here. SUV and a box truck involved in this one. Eastbound right near Wireless Road, you can see some of the delays. Also, I'm going to find delays in Rockland on the thruway southbound right after exit 12 in that backup of some construction. So once you get around it, you're fine heading toward the Cuomo Bridge and then emergency road work on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway northbound approaching interchange 10. Let's get live and check out the roadways. You can see the New Jersey Turnpike near Newark Liberty Airport. Things look great. No delays there. George Washington Bridge, let's take a peek. Heading into the tolls. Not bad across the span. A little crowded. And the Grand Central Parkway. Everything is moving right along right near the warning. Alternate side parking rules. They aren't affected today.
All right, thank you very much, Emily. 5:48 now. Police are trying to track down the burglar. Talking high-end stores in Manhattan. They say he's hit luxury shops from the Village to Soho, making off with more than $62,000 worth of merchandise in just 3 weeks. Here's some exclusive video showing a man breaking into the Rag and Bone store. That's Christopher Street, July 14th. Store employees took cash from the register, took $7,000 worth of clothes, put them into a trash bag, and then walked out. We say he broke into 6 other stores downtown, also in July, hitting them all in the mornings just before they opened.
A Rockland County firefighter who lost his life trying to save others is being honored for his bravery. Jared Lloyd was posthumously named Firefighter of the Year at a ceremony yesterday by the Firefighters Association of the state of New York. His mother and oldest son were presented with the award. The Spring Valley firefighter died in March 2021 while fighting a fire at the Evergreen Court adult home. Lloyd was just 35 years old. He had been a volunteer firefighter for 15 of those years.
He wanted to make an impact, which is what he did. Not just Rockland County, but the entire United States. He made an impact of how important to him it was to serve.
2 rabbis have been accused of causing that fire at the Evergreen Court home. 2 Spring Valley building officials are also accused of falsifying inspection records. All have pleaded not guilty.
It's 5:49 now. State education officials must now assess how well New York schools are teaching the Holocaust. Governor Kathy Hochul signed a bill yesterday that mandates the survey. Schools are already required to teach students about the Nazis, but there are concerns students are not properly learning about the mass murder of 6 million Jewish people at a time when anti-Semitic attacks are on the rise.
It is a moral imperative that we teach what happened to me, to my family, to my people, and let it stand as a living memorial for all of us.
Another measure requires museums to acknowledge art stolen from the Jewish community during the Holocaust.
5:50 right now. One NYPD program is helping to shape the future of young people across the city. The NYPD Summer Youth Employment Program held its career day yesterday. About 800 16 to 24-year-olds worked in different areas of the police department over the last 6 weeks. But at career day, they're exposed to jobs in and out of the NYPD. It's geared toward exposing young people to a variety of employment and training opportunities with corporate sponsors.
This is like a holistic approach today about the careers that we offer in the police department. But even if the police department is not for you, that we have external partners here as well. We just want young people to get on the right track.
One of the most popular stations at Career Day, the NYPD Aviation Unit, where students learn how helicopters assist operations. And new this year, students who are deaf or hard of hearing were paired up with officers who know sign language.
It's a
That's a
fantastic
wonderful program.
Absolutely. Still to come, the Global Citizen Festival coming back to Central Park. And now this morning we know who the headliners are going to be.
All right, and closing in on their World Series dreams, we're going to tell you which local Little League team is one step closer to claiming the trophy.
And then when we get to 6 o'clock, some we haven't seen in months, gas prices falling below a key milestone. You're watching Today in New York. Metallica, Mariah Carey, and the Jonas Brothers. They'll headline the free concert September 24th. Now, the bill also includes Charlie Puth, Rosalia, and Maneskin. And while the tickets are free, you must join Global Citizen to get them and take action on a series of issues. So they want you to enjoy the music, but also take action too.
For sure. All right. Well, it's 5:55 right now. Emily West is in for Adele, looking at roads, rails, and all that kind of stuff. Maria LaRosa is looking at this weather. It's been really hot, but we're trying to get some.
We're getting there. We're getting it down to less than 24 hours. I think we'll really feel the difference. I have my eye on the boardwalk, Seaside Heights, where the rain is really coming down. That batch of heavy rain is caught up. With the Jersey Shore, you see lots of yellow and orange from Monmouth County all the way down, about ready to catch up with the Garden State Parkway as well. So heads up there. Otherwise, some light showers moving into the New York City area, including Staten Island. As far as the shore weather goes, you have this batch this morning, maybe a chance late tonight. And then clear sailing pretty much Friday and Saturday, gorgeous from Long Island, Jersey Shore, and Connecticut. All right, thanks so much.
There's a few backups out there.
Yeah, the rain has not hit Queens yet.
Okay.
So right now you can see really how slow it is without the rain. So that's the western side into Woodhaven Boulevard. Once the rain hits, though, it might get a little more heavy. But of course, we will give you all those details.
Thanks so much, Em. All right, it's 5:56 right now. Tomorrow, the boys from Toms River, New Jersey will be taking on Massapequa with a chance to head to the Little League World Series. Last night, Toms River beat the team from Fairfield. New Jersey's Logan Macchia had a big game. He had a 2-run home run in the first inning, and he was also the winning pitcher.
Well, tonight in football, the Giants kick off preseason, Foxborough, Massachusetts. The game is a first for Big Blue under the helm of a new head coach, Brian Daboll. Let's take a look at how quarterback Daniel Jones runs a new offense. In the meantime, coach has turned over play calling to first-time offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. It's the Giants and the Patriots, 7 p.m. from Gillette Stadium, right here on NBC4 New York. Our very own Bruce Beck will be reporting to the sidelines.
Right, 5:56 right now, still to come. Pool alert. The one place city officials do not want you to beat the heat.
And then new details on that megabus tragedy on the New Jersey Turnpike. We're now hearing from one of the passengers who was on board.
And we continue to follow breaking news in the Bronx, where a teenager was shot and killed. Gabi Acevedo has new reaction from those in the community. You're watching Today in New York. Breaking right now on Today in New York, a teenage boy shot and killed in the Bronx. What we're learning about this tragedy.
Crooks with bear spray. A jewelry store heist takes an unexpected turn.
And new this morning, gas prices falling to an average that we have not seen in months. We get a live report from CNBC to break down what it all means. Good morning, everybody. Thursday morning. It is August 11th. I'm Darlene Rodriguez.
I'm Michael Gorgio. Emily West is watching our roads and rails this morning to see how that's going. And starting before us, Maria LaRosa is here with today's forecast. So, Maria, we've got to go through today.
We got to get through today. Really starting to feel the difference tomorrow. And along with the humidity and the heat, we've got some showers and storms I'm keeping an eye on. But let's talk temps first. It's pretty muggy out there. 76 at Central Park in Newark, 71 in White Plains, Bridgeport, Islip, and Belmar right now at 74. But yeah, there's some heavy rain out there. You can see it mainly south of the city. Right now, the brunt of it in Monmouth and Ocean counties. No warnings with it, but a ton of heavy rain. Seeing that on the Cans and Seaside Heights as an example. And catching up with the Garden State Parkway, Brick, you're right in it, Neptune as well, towards Red Bank and Middletown. Keeping an eye on any showers on the turnpike here at Newark. So maybe the umbrella here as you head out at least through 8 a.m. And then after that, it's more warmth and humidity, 86 degrees by 4 p.m. And we'll keep an eye on spotty showers with that front trying to come through later today, but still near 80 at 10 o'clock. All right, Emily, how are things looking out there?
Well, got a couple slow spots, of course, this time of the morning. Rockland County, first off, the accident did clear throughway southbound at 303. There is road work. We're near the Spring Valley Tulsa. Once you get through that delay, you're going to be fine here at the Cuomo Bridge. So that's not bad, but in New Jersey, new accident just popped up. 22 eastbound approaching Empire Street. You can see it's a pretty heavy go approaching that incident. Darlene, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. 6:01 right now. Now to that breaking news in the Bronx. Gunfire in a building lobby leaves a teenage boy dead. Today in New York's Gabi Acevedo's in the Fordham section where it's all happening. Gabi, what's the latest?
Good morning, Darlene, to you and to our viewers. Behind me, the scene is winding down, but still active in terms of the police investigation. Officers have discovered that the victim was a teenager who was shot and killed inside a lobby here on East 194th Street in the Bronx. Police say that call came in just after 1 a.m. with reports of a possible gunshot victim. When officers arrived on scene, they found that teenager shot in the chest. The teen's age is not established at this point yet. He was rushed to St. Barnabas Hospital where he could not be saved and died as a result of his gunshot wound. Police did confirm to us, Arlene, that the victim appears to be Hispanic, but many questions arise now in this case. It is unclear who fired the shot or if the shooter was alone when this happened, and we're still waiting to confirm the identity and more details about the teenage victim, including if the victim lived in the building where he was shot in that lobby. That is still not confirmed at this point. A community activist approached us and reacted to this shooting.
No, it's not surprising because we've seen this happen over and over again. Since the beginning of this year, things have gotten much worse in the city. We tried to get the attention of the mayor. We're trying to get the attention of the governor. We've been doing work with government agencies, but there needs to be more. It's only gotten worse over this past year.
And one of the unfortunate statements from that activist is that he was not surprised about this latest episode of gun violence here in the Bronx. We have heard the same from neighbors. We have seen kids, teenagers coming to the crime scene, Darlene, crying, hugging. It's a very raw, emotional that moment that they're living here, the neighbors here. So we're going to get more information in terms of who was this victim exactly. Detectives are canvassing the area, interviewing neighbors, trying to piece this puzzle together, trying to get more evidence in this latest episode of gun violence involving, again, a teenager. Reporting live from the Fordham section of the Bronx, Gabi Acevedo, today in New York.
Gabi, thank you.
Also in the Bronx right now, police are trying to track down a group of thieves after another smash and grab heist in the jewelry store there. It's the second one in the area in just the past week. Police say at least 10 men wearing masks barged into a jewelry store in Fordham Heights on Fordham Road just after 7 last night. They say the suspects used bear spray on the store employees before breaking multiple jewelry cases. They took off in cars and motorcycles with a stash of stolen goods. It's not clear if these two heists are connected.
In New Jersey, a second person has died in a megabus crash that shut down part of the turnpike Tuesday night. 3 people are still in the hospital with serious injuries. Investigators say the bus was heading to Philadelphia from New York City with 22 passengers on board when the driver lost control, hit a Ford pickup truck and a guardrail, and then flipped on its side. Some passengers quickly jumped into action to help those who were injured.
Called 911 and then opened up the emergency exit and helped everyone out and hopped out, and my son was there to help, which was great. And then got out and just sat there while the EMTs kind of took care of everybody.
Investigators looking into what caused the driver to lose control.
6:04 now, and Newark, almost everybody's got their water back on again after that major water main break on Tuesday. Mayor Raz Baraka says 99% of the city's water service is back, but a boil water order is still in effect because of concerns about the water quality. In neighboring Belleville, some people say they still have dirty water and trickling showers.
Now the questions and chaos surrounding former President Donald Trump. He asserted his Fifth Amendment right and refused to answer 6 hours of questions from the New York Attorney General's office. This amid the fallout of the FBI search of his Florida home. NBC's Jay Gray is following all of it from Washington.
Mr. Trump, can we have a word, sir? For the normally brash, outspoken former president, the last 24 hours or so have been defined by his silence. Repeatedly invoking his Fifth Amendment right, refusing to answer questions during a deposition with New York's Attorney General, part of an ongoing civil investigation into the Trump family's business practices, and to this point, choosing not to request and release the warrant from the search and seizure at Mar-a-Lago, which would publicly outline the government's allegations against him. Still, the former president does have plenty to say online, describing multiple ongoing investigations as attacks and politically fueled witch hunts, and without providing any evidence, suggesting federal agents had the opportunity to plant evidence during their search. Baseless speculation echoed by supporters.
I think they just make stuff up.
All of this amid growing indications it was a Trump insider who sparked the FBI's move on his Florida home.
Donald Trump probably does have the snitch in his midst. There had to be somebody who's an insider that basically directed the FBI agents.
Democrats on Capitol Hill putting their faith in the process.
Justice is coming, for the corrupt. And I am confident that when all is said and done, that the rule of law is going to prevail.
The investigation, an issue that is dividing voters.
No matter who you are, you're going to be held accountable, hopefully.
As the legal and political drama continues to unfold. And on that political side, several within the former president's inner circle are apparently urging him to announce his 2024 campaign sooner rather than later. In Washington, Jay Gray, today in New York.
All right, Jay from Washington there at 6:07. Today's CNBC Money Report. There's actually some good news for Americans who are struggling to pay bills. So new numbers came out on inflation and gas prices as well. What do they show? Let's check in with CNBC's Courtney Reagan joins us now with the details. So not bad news, we can say that at least, Courtney.
Hey, you know what? It's not so bad this morning, Michael. Gas prices have dropped below $4 a gallon for the first time in more than 5 months. AAA reporting the national average for regular is $3.99. Prices have dropped 15 cents in the past week and nearly 70 cents in the past month. The move comes as the cost of oil has dropped after peaking in mid-June on concerns about a slowing global economy. So the reason for the prices is not so great. High prices may also be causing Americans to drive less generally. Gasoline demand is down about 3% from this time last year. Well, Wall Street is set to open higher this morning, extending yesterday's gains. The market rallying after a report showed consumer prices rose at a slower than expected pace in July, thanks mostly to that drop in gas prices. Although price of food like eggs, those prices still on the rise. The CPI report raising questions whether inflation has peaked and then whether the Federal Reserve will need to be as aggressive in hiking interest rates as a result. The Fed does meet again next month, and several officials are saying it's still too early to claim victory in the fight against inflation. And focus today, a report on producer prices for the cost to manufacture goods. Caroline, Michael, back over to you.
All right, so at least we're not seeing a summer of $6 gas, which is what some people have been concerned about because they had that out on the West Coast.
That's right.
Courtney, thank you so much. I do appreciate that.
Check in now with Maria LaRosa before we take a break looking at the weather.
And we're looking at some showers and some rumbles of thunder, especially from the city to the south as it rolls off to the east. So if you're about ready to head out, I'd grab the umbrella. If you're about ready to take your pup out like Augie here, maybe a little wet on his sweet forehead over the next few hours. I know. By noontime, though, some sunshine, 80 degrees. Of course, the humidity still with us now. It's going to drop. I'll show you when, though. It's on its way back in the 10-day forecast.
Thanks so much. Also, the wrong place to put a pool. The new warning from the city's building officials as people try to cool off.
Preliminary suggestions for congestion pricing are out. How much it could cost you to get into the city in 2023 coming up. And major commuter lines look great. We don't have any delays. Ferries, everything is on schedule. Let's get a line check on the Bell Parkway, where that ride is starting to get a little more busy. New trouble in New York. I'll tell you about a crash when Today in New York returns.
Conventional thinking would say Verizon has the largest and fastest 5G network, but they don't. They only cover select cities with 5G. So for me and the hundreds of drivers in my fleet, staying connected, cutting downtime, delivering on time depends on T-Mobile 5G. And with coverage of over 96% of interstate highway miles, they've got us covered.
Unconventional thinking delivers 4 times the 5G coverage of Verizon, and it's ready right now. T-Mobile for Business.
But I'd rather have
You look at the Science Center. Some people in South Jersey, they're breathing easier this morning, but for a while the air was thick with the smell of rotten eggs. Never pleasant. Stench was tracked to a chemical leak at this truck stop in Paulsboro. Police say it was a fuel additive that overheated inside a tanker. The resulting gas was released by venting, and an overpowering sulfur odor was reported in several communities. People were advised to stay inside their homes until just a few hours ago.
In Brooklyn, the Department of Buildings is ordering the owners of a commercial building to remove a rooftop swimming pool. The DOB says this pool here in Williamsburg on Flushing Avenue is illegal, and it was installed without proper permits or professional construction. Looks a little wobbly there, too. Officials say it added about 60 tons to a roof that's not designed to hold the weight. So far, no word from the building's owners. The pool, though, has been drained.
You can imagine how much weight all that water puts on it.
And if you put people in there as well.
Absolutely. All right, 6:14 right now, live up there at the beach. A little foggy to start the morning, though.
It's foggy, it's heavy rain coming down, and I'll tell you right now, it's not the time for that morning walk on the beach. I'm looking at Point Pleasant Beach, and then looking at the radar, and we've got lightning flashes coming real close here. I can spot 1, 2, 3, 4, all less than a mile away. So you probably have gotten that jolt awake right now in Point Pleasant Beach, Bayhead Junction, all along and up and down the shore with that heavy, heavy rainfall trying to push off to the east. So we're tracking it all the way from Seaside Heights and Forked River up to Sandy Hook, Red Bank as well. We're starting to see some of those other showers from Freehold and into Middlesex and Union counties too, seeing some light rain reported at Newark, JFK as well. Let's take you the next few hours. So we're watching this batch. It'll roll on Long Island and Connecticut through at least late morning, then some cloudy periods with some sun breaking out, and that's going to help fuel some showers and storms that we expect to ride along the front here. So timing wise, it is for the evening. Keep that umbrella handy if you're thinking about dining out. I wouldn't cancel plans, but definitely check the radar, check in with us before you head out. And you can see even a line potential here as that front really tries to push on through tomorrow morning before we sort of clear the way for much more comfortable weather. I wouldn't call out there right now very comfortable. It's very humid. 77 in Hoboken and Fairlawn at 71, New Rochelle 73 degrees, Midwood at 77. We're headed up to 87 with that humidity. Definitely not comfortable. That is going to come with that front later on. Again, if you have evening plans, there may be a few spotty showers out there. Just to note too, tonight's sunset, 7:59. We don't get a post 8 p.m. sunset until May. So it's that time of year too. And then by the time we get to tomorrow morning, that humidity is really dropping. Still expecting that for the weekend. High pressure holding on, giving us a good one. It's later into the early part of the week here that we've got the showers back. And not just showers. I think potentially good soaking rain here on Tuesday. We really need the rain. And as you can see from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, chance to pick up a little bit more with showers and storms. All right, 6:16, that's your 10-day, Emily. How are things looking?
Things get a little crowded, especially in the Bronx, across Bronx West. Slow down to that into 3rd Avenue, LIE delays into Woodhaven Boulevard, and then Wick northbound now heavy in toward the Kew Gardens interchange. Now, still this crash on 22. You can see both ways. It's really busy. Eastbound approaching Empire Street, so that's going to be slow. Also construction, so causing a backup on the New York State Thruway southbound from the Spring Valley tolls in toward the Palisades. That earlier crash at 303 did wrap up, and then Suffolk County on Wisconsin Highway, accident here eastbound, right near Wireless Road. Let's get a line check of the roadways where you can see it right near the Meadowlands Route 3. That's moving along without any delay, so that's a pretty good go for you. Also, things moving along the both approaches here at the Holland, and then on Long Island, the LIE at Searingtown Road. Looks like that westbound route is headed. Alternate side parking rules, they aren't in effect today. Michael.
All right, Emily, thank you very much. Overseas, Ukrainians say 9 Russian warplanes were destroyed during explosions in the disputed Crimea region. Ukrainian officials stopped short of saying they actually attacked the Russian airbase, killing 1 person. The Russians are saying it was an accident that fuel and ammunition went up. But satellite photos appears to show what was a coordinated and destructive attack by Ukraine further east than they've ever struck before. It was in 2014 that Russian forces took control of this area, Crimea.
3 people were killed. 1 person was injured when a house exploded in Indiana. Happened yesterday afternoon in the city of Evansville, near the Kentucky border. 30 other homes in the area were damaged. Firefighters say some were left too unstable to enter. Some witnesses say the blast sounded like a sonic boom.
It shook the whole building, and one of the windows even kind of buckled in on itself a little bit. But then we walked outside, and there's this huge plume of smoke coming up from about 4 or 5 houses down the way. Then there was debris and insulation falling on us, like snow.
Well, the cause of the explosion is under investigation.
6:18 now, police in New Jersey say they've captured the accused serial rapist behind a string of sexual assaults in several parks. They say 38-year-old Rogelio Postrero was arrested last week in Raritan on public lewdness allegations. Now, prosecutors say Postrero is suspected in 4 violent sexual assaults and possibly more. DNA evidence is linked him to attacks in Bridgewater and Franklin Townships. He now faces multiple counts, including sexual assault, lewdness, and false documentation.
The posters with warnings about polio are going up in Rockland County. Officials are sending them out in several languages to places like grocery stores and houses of worship. It follows confirmation of 1 case of the illness, and wastewater tests show polio present in the community. The CDC team is on the ground to help avoid an outbreak. There are also county clinics providing vaccinations.
6:19 now, still to come. Tears on the tennis court what Serena Williams had to say as she embarks on a farewell tour.
Also, get ready to pay more to stream some of your favorite shows. And I'll tell you which major service just announced a price hike.
A program that makes it easier to turn your food scraps into compost. I'm Linda Vaquero in Stanford with a look at how it also saves taxpayers money.
We know the ship just rolls down the hill. I found my thrill on blueberry. If I wanted you to shoot up there, I'd send you up there. But it's soft, y'all, my man. I don't know if the intake is north or my man. It's soft. The intake is soft, y'all. The intake is soft. My storytellers, what? What about storytellers? What I got? Boy, I gotta say that stuff. Boy, that guy acted the way we want him to act. Even though he is a cheat. I told you we're going to come back for Halloween. Also, say. Very strong and he finished because they used to be spinach. I'm not play the sailor man. I'm not play the sailor man. I live in a garbage can. I'm not to be spinach because I used to be spinach. I'm not play the sailor man.
The island, you can't even see there's the Atlantic Ocean right behind there. Well, get ready to shell out more money for Disney streaming services. Disney says they're raising prices after reporting a big operating loss. So starting December 8th, Disney Plus with commercials will climb to $7.99 a month, while the price of the ad-free Disney Plus would rise $3. That'll be $10.99. Price of Hulu without ads, that's going up $2 a month. Hulu with ads is going to go up by $1 a month. Disney announced the price last month that the price of ESPN, the version with ads, is also going up as well.
All right, well, here's a must-have for Michael Jordan fans just ahead of the 25th anniversary of the 1997-98 NBA season. Sotheby's will auction off one of the most significant items from Jordan's career. Check it out. It is his jersey from Game 1 of the 1998 NBA Finals from the famed Last Dance season. The jersey has an estimated price of between $3 and $5 million.
Wow.
That marks the highest auction estimate for a Jordan jersey, as well as any piece of Jordan memorabilia. It's going to go up for auction here in New York from September 6th to the 12th. I mean, that was quite the season. That was just like a magical time all around.
Absolutely.
He was a magical player.
Right, so that's $3 to $5 million.
Somebody's going to pay
That's what it's going to be, right?
Somebody's going to pay it. I just want to see it. I'd like to
I
just touch
know,
it.
right? Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, keeping an eye on that radar. A lot of lightning right now down the shore, especially around Point Pleasant. That heaviest rainfall is just about ready to clear the coast, so a little bit longer. Seeing some of that light to moderate rainfall creep into, say, Staten Island, in and around the city. So if you're going to be out in the next few hours, grab that umbrella. Otherwise, beach forecasts should be better for the afternoon from Long Island, Jersey Shore, and Connecticut, and really looking great still. 70s and 80s Friday into Saturday.
All right, thank you.
What's going on, man?
Hudson River Crossings, just taking a peek at those, just about 5 to 10 minutes around really all three. But here at the Lincoln, you can see it gets a little slow coming around the Helix. But if you're taking the trains, major commuter rails, everything is running on schedule this morning.
All right, thank you so much. There's a new installation. It aims to get families to play more. That's right. It's been unveiled in Harlem. Flyaway Isles is a collaboration between the Lego Group, artist Hebrew Brantley, and the Brotherhood Sister Soul organization. It's located outside the nonprofit's offices on Hamilton Place. It was designed with the goal of encouraging play, playful actions, sparking children's imaginations. I just love all the colors they've used there, right?
I love it. It's just beautiful. So inviting.
Absolutely.
All right, 6:25. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. And still to come, more on that breaking news that we're following in the Bronx.
A police investigation is underway after a teenager was shot and killed overnight in the Bronx. We'll bring you live to the scenes for some details.
And then new this morning, giving green to New York City's green spaces, the multi-million-dollar new funding just announced from the White House. You're watching Today in New York.
You know, when I was a teenager, I loved my chocolate milkshakes. Now, for years, my shakes have been Atkins shakes. They're ridiculously good. I mean, you're living Atkins because they help burn fat. But you might like that part. It would take a lot for me to love another bar as much as my Atkins chocolate peanut butter bars. But this one might just do it. Vanilla caramel pretzel. It's got 15 grams of protein. It's got caramel. It's got pretzels. I mean, game over.
What we're learning about this troubling video and why it's sparking a war of words over the treatment of these working animals.
And then all revved up, you might say, a reaction pouring in over the city's congestion pricing plan and the possibility you could end up paying $23 to drive into Midtown Manhattan. That will get people up in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It's 6:30 a.m. on this Thursday, August 11th. Good morning to Michael Gargiulo.
And Darlene Rodriguez. All right, wake up on a Thursday. Emily West is here and for now looking at commuter alerts. Storm Team 4's Maria LaRosa is here with the forecast.
Yes, I have some thoughts
Okay.
on the weather, of course, and that pricing. That's a sidebar. Let's get you started, though. The rain has caught up with the Staten Island Expressway. A live picture there. You can see the wet roadways. For now, it's light to moderate on our radar here. So from Newark, we're reporting some sprinkles to Linden and Summit, as well as in and around Manhattan. You're probably feeling those sprinkles. Breezy Point as well. The heaviest rain continues to push just off the Jersey Shore, really from Sandy Hook back through Point Pleasant, and really now to the east of the Garden State Parkway, so that might make things a little easier. Just a little bit more to go through Central and South Jersey. So that's this morning. Later on, we'll get some sun back here. We hang on to that humidity another day, so rather warm, 86 by 4 p.m., and then we'll start to see things dry out through 10 o'clock, still near 80 degrees. All right, Emily, what are you watching out for?
Well, got an accident in Newark, and you said some sprinkles there too, so this could affect the slowdown 22 eastbound approaching Empire Street. You can see the backup with that. Also delays Harlem River Drive southbound, pretty busy here at 127th. Going to see those delays continue onto the FDR and toward the 90s. Michael, back to you.
Emily, thank you very much. I want to get to that breaking news in the Bronx where a teenager was shot and killed inside a building lobby. 10 York's Gabi Acevedo's in the Fordham section. The investigation's underway, but you're already hearing from the community about how upsetting this is, Gabi.
As you can see behind me, the scene still remains active, although winding down. Neighbors are reacting in shock as they're waking up this morning and finding out about what happened here. This is still the preliminary stages of this police investigation, but officers have discovered that the victim, who is a teenager, was shot and killed inside a lobby here on East 194th Street in the Bronx. Police say that call came in just after 1 a.m. with reports of a possible gunshot victim. When officers arrived on scene, they found that teenager shot in the chest. At this point, the investigation is leaning into a possible group of people standing inside the lobby with the victim, and apparently one shot went off. That is the bullet casing that they have found. The officers inside that lobby, then the victim dragged outside into the street where paramedics arrived. He was rushed to St. Barnabas Hospital where he could not be saved and died as a result of his gunshot wound. We're told the victim is 17 years old of Hispanic descent. Many questions arise now in this case. It is so unclear who fired that shot or how that shot was mistakenly fired by a gun, by someone, and if the shooter was with more people. Who were these people that were at the lobby here? We're still waiting to confirm the identity of the victim or more details about this. A community activist approached us and reacted to the shooting.
No, it's not surprising because we've seen this happen over and over again. Since the beginning of this year, things have gotten much worse in the city. We tried to get the attention of the mayor. We're trying to get the attention of the governor. We've been doing work with government agencies, but there needs to be more. It's only gotten worse over this past year.
Again, at this point, police are investigating if indeed a group of people were inside that lobby and apparently a gun went off. They have placed a bullet casing inside the lobby. We do not know, or we haven't confirmed at this point, if the victim actually lived inside the building where he was shot. Now, in terms of those suspects, of the group of people involved, there's still no description. Detectives are still canvassing the area, talking to neighbors, looking for possible surveillance video that can shed light on this latest episode of gun violence involving a teenager. Reporting live from the Fordham section of the Bronx, Gabi Acevedo, Today in New York.
All right, Gabi, thank you.
New this morning, police are searching for a suspect who they say stabbed a man on an MTA bus in Harlem. It happened at West 135th Street and Lenox Avenue a little after 1 this morning. Police say the suspect, believed to be in his 40s, got into some kind of fight with a 38-year-old man. They say he then stabbed the victim in the right arm and slashed his right hand. The suspect got off the bus and ran. The victim was taken to a hospital and is expected to be okay. Also new this morning, investigators are trying to figure out what happened after a man was found dead in Brooklyn. The body of the man, who was believed to be in his mid-70s, was discovered in a building in Cypress Hills on 101st Avenue. Police sources tell us that bottles marked hazardous were found near the body. Several agencies, including the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, rushed to the scene. Investigators are also looking at drawings that were left at the scene. A medical examiner is expected to determine a cause of death.
It is 6:33 now, and this video shows the moment a driver trying to avoid a traffic arrest in Queens ran down 3 people, including a mother who was pushing her 2-year-old in a stroller. Here it is. The surveillance video showing an officer trying to chase down the driver who took off after he was pulled over in Ridgewood near Wyckoff Avenue and George Street yesterday. Police say he hit the woman and her toddler and also hit a 35-year-old man. That man now has some serious leg injuries.
He actually pushed out of the way. The child. Yes. He's the hero. He's the real hero. The guy that got hit. He was discussing about the baby. He was talking about the baby.
Well, police are still trying to find that driver. And they say they found the car, though. A short time after he hit the victims, the mother and her child are expected to be okay.
Well, now to the controversial commuter pricing plan. We have a better idea now of the price you could pay to drive into Midtown or Lower Manhattan, and it's not sitting well with those in the suburbs. Today, New York's Romney Smith in Mineola with all the reaction. Good morning, Romney.
Good morning. It's going to cost money if this plan goes through as drafted right now. There's actually a meeting in Mineola in a few hours for people to discuss the impact of congestion pricing and how it will really hit commuters in the suburbs. Take a look at the plan. This is what we're talking about. This is the preliminary proposal for congestion pricing. It would impact anyone driving into Manhattan south of 60th Street at peak toll. You'd have to pay anywhere from $9 to a whopping $23. Off-peak times could cost between $7 to $17, and overnight drivers could pay anywhere from $5 on up to $12. And get this, peak hours would be a 14-hour block of the day, likely 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, that plan is included in an environmental assessment to reduce traffic by up to 20% by increasing tolls. Now, congestion pricing will also raise upwards of $15 billion needed by the MTA to upgrade the more than 100-year-old system. It's also important to note that a federal review found that traffic might actually get worse in the other boroughs because of this plan, and that could lead to more resistance to the plan.
It actually increases traffic in parts of the Bronx. The environmental review says the number of trucks on the Cross Bronx Expressway would go up.
I believe that congestion pricing should be killed. You want more people riding the subway? Make it safe again.
My political opponent would rather raise taxes on New Yorkers to pay for this or shut down the subway. I'm not sure what his alternatives are.
There will be exemptions and exceptions. However, we do not have details right now on what those will be. 6 public hearings will start later this month if you would like to weigh in. And Darlene, I believe a lot of people will have something to say about potentially paying $23 just to get into the city. So we'll let you know what happens at the meeting later this morning. We are live in Mineola on Long Island. Romney Smith, today in New York. Back to you.
Strong opinions anticipated, Romney. Thank you.
6:37 now. We're learning more about former President Trump's deposition at New York Attorney General Letitia James' Manhattan office. Mr. Trump left after several hours, his lawyer telling us only question the former president answered was his name. The source tells us he invoked his constitutional Fifth Amendment right 440 times. James is investigating the Trump Organization's business dealings. Now, if this civil case goes to trial, the jury can be told that the former president took the fifth in the deposition.
In fact, the very definition of asserting the Fifth Amendment is that it has to be the case that a truthful answer to the question would tend to incriminate you.
Former President Trump issued a statement saying he took the fifth because he's the target of, quote, the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country, unquote. He also alleges the probe is politically motivated. James says she'll continue to pursue the facts and law wherever they may lead.
New this morning, New York City is getting more than $7 million in federal funding to expand the NYC Greenway. It is part of the Biden administration's $2.2 billion Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE, as it's called. The program is called. Well, the plan is to focus on underdeveloped greenway sections and fill the gaps between existing greenway paths. And more dedicated bike lanes will also be installed to help protect cyclists. Now, other local projects include a $1.1 million roadway planning and design plan for the Shinnecock Indian Nation on Long Island. Elizabeth, New Jersey is getting $5 million to look into the feasibility of building a ferry terminal for service to Manhattan. And more than $2 million is going to Stamford, Connecticut. That's for a planning project to overhaul just over a mile of the West Main Street corridor.
All right, 6:39 right now. We had a view, Maria, of Coney Island where couldn't see the Atlantic.
No, on top of the haze, we have some showers moving in. Yeah, it's kind of messy out there now from the city to the south. And right now, that heaviest rain exiting the Jersey Shore. So definitely a little bit of a messy morning. We're left with all that mugginess for the afternoon. It's by this evening that we start to get some real relief in here. Also talk about the return of maybe some heavy soaking rainfall in that 10-day forecast.
All right, also Serena's tearful farewell. What happened during the tennis superstar's first match since announcing her retirement?
And then squirrel splooting. Splooting is the word. What to know about this natural phenomena? It was worrying some parkgoers across our area.
I'm sorry, splooting?
Sploot.
Splooting. All right, we'll check on that a little bit. Just tell me more about it. All right, commuter rails, everything is on schedule. Looks great. Let's get a line check of the Gowanus. It's a wet ride. Inbound looking okay. We've got a lot of accidents popping up, though. With this wet ride, I'll tell you all about it when Today in New York returns.
I don't mean proportions. I mean just like a gym class. Uniform exercise. I don't mean.
It's a full torpedo room.
Forward torpedo room.
Yeah.
Well, why? So that means that there were torpedoes in it?
Harold has tips on how you can watch the.
Of course you want some exercise. I feel good, of course you do. It's all right. A lot of backyard. Before 9:30.
Millions on expanding Illinois' network of charging vehicles for electric cars.
The Boston Globe follows the phenomenon of manhole cover explosions. They've been at the center of a few high-profile traffic incidents this summer. Despite being in the news a lot lately, the paper notes they've actually declined in prevalence over the past decade.
And Britain's The Times shows this stunning view of a parched landscape just outside of London. After a brief spell of milder temperatures, another heat wave is set to descend upon southern England later this week.
And train and transit tickets were artificially lowered by the German government this summer to provide relief from rising gas prices. But the news may be backfiring. This morning, the Berliner Zeitung reports that local transit agencies have been left so starved for cash they might be forced to dramatically raise fares next year. And up next in our trending stories, some flavors coming to American chip aisles for the first time will be new for some and familiar for many others.
All right, you might have noticed this. If you use Teams to work remotely, guess what? There are some new emojis.
And now Microsoft says you have the power to actually change them.
So what's learned?
Or it's a clear shot across the bridge. IDOT has not given us a time on when this will complete. They say it is a difficult repair. We, of course, will keep an eye on it and let folks know when that is cleared up. And Laura, one final thing I want to say. Normally, I would just say, it's a gorgeous morning. Roll down the window, turn up the tunes, and enjoy your time. But don't roll down that window. We are dealing with effects of that fire that Damon was reporting on. There's a lot of smoke hanging over the Metro East, even into downtown. I can smell it in the car now. I can smell it when I got to work. So, yeah, I would keep those windows up as you make your way to downtown.
Oh, really good points, Mark. Thank you for driving us through all that.
There's some bad air out there. Thank you, folks. More than 500,000 people go to the emergency room each year because of painful kidney stones. And doctors say that this summer is the time that is when most prevalent, and it's easier to get it because folks get dehydrated. So if you work outside, you should do some intense exercise or any other activity that can dehydrate you. It's crucial to drink a lot of water to decrease your risk of getting a kidney stone.
Prevention involves increase in hydration, and that's going to decrease the precipitation of kidney stones, basically prevent those that are there from getting bigger. The other thing is try to adopt a lower salt diet.
And once you had a kidney stone, it's even more important to hydrate and eat healthy because there's a 50% chance of developing another one within the next 5 years.
Inflation does appear to be cooling off a bit. Prices came down more than predicted in the latest consumer price index. That one came out yesterday. Cheaper gas is the big reason for falling inflation. Across the country, prices are now below $4 a gallon. This is the first time since March. Here in our area, we could see gas under $3 relatively soon. In fact, St. Peter's drivers, you can find gas for $3.11 a gallon right now. Airfare is also dropping. It was down nearly 8% in July, with tickets averaging a little over $300. Experts predict that airfare will drop another 8% this month. Of course, not all prices are dropping. If you've been to the grocery store, you know that food continues to be more expensive, up 11% from this time last year. Shelter also remains very high, up 6% from the year before.
Disney Plus is also getting more expensive. Less than 3 years after it launched, the streaming service will now cost $10.99 a month if you want it to remain ad-free. That's a $3 jump from the original cost, $7.99. There'll also be an option to stick at $7.99, but you get the ads. Those changes start in December. Well, if you've had plans just to lounge around the house this weekend, you don't feel bad. I think it's going to help you try to stay smart.
That's according to an analysis in the journal Neurology. It found that a little leisure is really good for the brain. Those who participated in leisure activities like reading a book, practicing yoga, or even visiting friends on a regular basis had a lower risk of dementia and also reduced their chance of cognitive decline. So good news, 3 friends right here.
Yeah. Maybe a little easy listening music. Just take it easy a little bit, chill, and just kind of ease your mind. And can't get a little swerve on there, and you'll be in good shape.
I'm feeling better already.
Yeah, you can feel that, can't you?
So relaxed.
Yeah, cool out a little bit.
It's my relaxed voice.
Good.
Well, the weather's certainly cooperating, I will say that. We had lower humidity this morning and cooler temperatures under clear skies with light winds. That is a little bit of a recipe for fog, and we do have some fog across the area this morning, but it's not too bad. We're looking off the roof of St. Louis Children's Hospital, a beautiful view of Forest Park, and of course the Science Center's planetarium over here, and I-64 just to the south of that. So yeah, things are looking good. Blue skies and a little bit of fog. Visibility's down to a mile in Alton, 0.3 of a mile in Litchfield, 7 miles in St. Louis. It's patchy. Most of it's fairly light, and I don't think you'll have too much of a problem. Watch out on those river crossings, though, because that's where he tends to build up a little bit. 60 in Litchfield, 55 degrees in Eureka this morning. Man, that's good stuff. 62 in St. Peter's, Nashville, and Bonne Terre at 60 degrees this morning under clear skies. No rain threatening and not expecting any for a little while. So yesterday was 85. We'll be a little bit warmer today at 87.
Sunny skies, warm temperatures, humidity creeps up a little bit, but it's still not too bad. And north winds at about 4 to 8 miles per hour. It's about what you would expect for this time of year, maybe a little bit below normal, but not too bad. And speaking of below normal, it's been below normal activity in the tropics, and that continues. Very low chance at this point of anything developing here along the intertropical convergence zone. So an eye on the tropics. It's getting pretty late in the season to start firing things up, and they still expect a fairly busy season, which would mean we'd have a bunch of storms packed into the latter part of it. So 87 degrees today, 83 tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. Gets a little cooler for one day. Then it heats up over the weekend. Typical August temperatures, 88 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies. Not expecting any rain. Should be good for the Cardinal games or your kids' games or maybe your golf game. Temperatures next week into the low 80s, a little below normal with just some low rain chances. And we talked about this yesterday, and the update from yesterday is good in that we do expect below normal temperature trends as we move through that second 7-day period, 8 to 14 days out from the 18th of August through the 24th, and about near normal precipitation chances. So, yeah, we'll take that in August, right?
Yeah, cool it down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Ken. See you a little bit later. Coming up, our top stories of the morning.
And right after the break, a big proposal to transform Manchester Road. We have details on the major renovation that soon could be coming to Brentwood.
Late, cooler summer, warmer winters since 1946.
On today's Great Day, country music artist Caroline Jones performs for us before taking the stage with the Zac Brown Band.
And the greatest lunch food item of all time is being celebrated this month. We'll tell you where you can pick up a sandwich and give back to charity at 9.
Scott Credit Union is with you when you want a new vehicle. With low rates, fast approval, and flexible terms, 100% financing, and convenient direct lending. We've got you covered, no matter what you drive. Scott Credit Union, with you.
This isn't your typical runaway ride scene.
It's an Nissan sales event ad. Now that's something I can commit to. This RAV4 doesn't even have as many standard safety features as this Rogue.
Get low APR financing plus no payments for 90 days on Altima.
Love may be forever, but these offers are not.
Somebody showed me a picture of a before and after that Stratmatic had done. We decided to try it, and I can't believe the difference.
We can actually transform your floor and your showers to look new again. Restore it. Don't replace it in just one day.
Save up to 70% on thousands of floor models, overstocks, scratch and dents, and more. Plus 12-month special financing, all during Watson's annual parking lot sale.
Best thing I ever did.
Miracle Ear is here to change lives. With hearing aids starting at $895, there's no better time to take the next step. Join the thousands of satisfied customers who have already taken action. Get your life back.
2022 has now officially begun. And that's what we should expect.
From my mother's kitchen to your table, I bring the authentic flavors of Italy.
Scott Credit Union is with you when you are ready for a new home. We can secure your loan and help you purchase with no down payment, fixed rates, and fast turnarounds. No one will work harder for you. Scott Credit Union, with you.
The city of Brentwood is envisioning a massive new development on Manchester Road.
Yeah, big deal going on here. New office space, restaurants, retail, hotel, and housing would be part of the $400 million project. That plan includes 23 buildings spanning over several blocks on Manchester Road from Hanley to Brentwood. The mayor of Brentwood says it's going to create a destination that will connect multiple communities.
Anything we can do to, build up the middle of the city and attract more people to Brentwood area, I think would be great.
Well, it's going to be going before the Board of Aldermen on Monday, and it'll be the first of numerous meetings for the public to weigh in on.
Happening tonight, the second ever Field of Dreams game. Last year, the Yankees and White Sox started the tradition with a thrilling game. I'm getting goosebumps just seeing parts of last year.
Costner hanging out.
Yeah, it was awesome last year. And tonight, it is going to be the Chicago Cubs taking on the Cincinnati Reds. The game is played, of course, where that popular 1989 movie was filmed, in the middle of the cornfields in Iowa. Once again, we can't wait to see this. Players walking through the cornfields as they enter the field. The game does begin at 6:15 St. Louis time.
Yeah.
I know you watched this last year. I did too. And just seeing it again.
It was fun.
Right?
It was fun. Kevin Costner hanging out. I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but Cubs and Reds, they both aren't very good, but hopefully the corn and all the magic of the movie, maybe it'll get to speed. Hopefully a great game.
I am excited to see the highlights.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, we'll do it. All right, folks. Hey, our top stories are next. Stay with us.
Jim Butler, the Kia Powerhouse. The power to go further, the power to deliver, the power to get you financed. Experience the power of the best when you buy your next new Kia at JimButlerKia.com.
Jim Butler is the Kia Powerhouse.
At St. Louis Community College, we make your path to career success a reality with low tuition, flexible classes, and the support you need. Come as you are, see what you become.
Quietly, Missouri's John Wood has worked to change Washington as a veteran of the Department of Justice and Homeland Security. Today, with inflation soaring and politicians raging, John Wood is running for U.S. Senate, a Missouri independent known for straight talk and a heart of faith. Missouri can show America the path forward with just 2 words: John Wood. Missouri Stands United is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Visit your Gateway Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
St. Louis bi-state summers are hot, humid, and can be deadly. Heat can even fry an egg on a sidewalk. For many seniors and the disabled, money goes to rent, medicine, and groceries, often with nothing left to pay utility bills. Please help seniors keep the air on, and let's check on elderly neighbors. CoolDownStLouis.org can also help Missouri and Illinois needy neighbors with utility bills. Get help, give help at CoolDownStLouis.org.
There are so many ways in which play is important for children. It develops their little brains, it develops their motor skills, it also develops their social skills. So this playground is an example of placing resources where there is the greatest need.
Jim Butler, the Kia Powerhouse. The power to go further, the power to deliver, the power to get you financed. Experience the power of the best when you buy your next new Kia at JimButlerKia.com.
Jim Butler is the Kia Powerhouse.
Forewarned Traffic is brought to you by Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Now on both sides of the river.
A recycling plant in Madison, Illinois is still smoldering after a massive fire ripped through the building. Madison's mayor says that batteries inside the warehouse could have caused this fire. At least one employee was hospitalized. Once the fire is out, the investigation can begin.
Many people still smell that smoke lingering in the air, especially on the approach to the downtown bridges. And my friends, give yourself an extra 10 minutes. If you do take the Poplar, some emergency work is happening out there on the approach to the Poplar, blocking at least one of those lanes of Interstate 64. Slow down right here, 55 northbound at Carondelet. Kent, you can see just how bright it is.
Bright sunshine and clear skies. There is some fog around. You can see some of that fog there. A little bit of haze downtown. 68 degrees in St. Louis right now. And we are looking at lower humidity this morning, although it's going to be going up a little bit later in the day. Some areas dip down into the 50s. this morning. Can you imagine going outside and enjoying your coffee?
Nice.
Good, yeah. Yesterday's high was 85. Today we'll hit about 87. A little cooler tomorrow, then upper 80s to near 90 over the weekend.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy these temps. And everyone enjoy your day. CBS Mornings is next. Have a great one.
Thanks for watching KMOV News 4. Watch us live wherever you are on our mobile, on our streaming news app. And you can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
See, they want you to pay their clause, just like they want you to pay
Welcome to CBS Mornings on this Thursday morning. I'm Gail King.
I'm Tony DeCampo. Got my brothers.
We're all here. Let's go to today's eye opener. It's your world in 90 seconds. Former President Trump refuses to answer questions under oath in New York City over alleged fraud by the Trump Organization.
There's a lot of mistrust here, a lot of bad blood here. He always tries the victim when he knows he's going to lose. An Iranian operative is charged with plotting to kill ex-National Security Advisor John Bolton.
The government of Iran is trying to kill Americans on American soil.
President Joe Biden signing a historic bill. The legislation expands health care and benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits.
This law is long overdue, but we finally got it done. Texas sends busloads of migrants to New York City, and the mayor doesn't like it. He is a anti-American governor.
A fire broke out at a metal recycling plant in Madison, Illinois. Thick smoke from the fire could be seen from miles away.
On camera in El Paso, Texas, a woman is saved from her car as it's swallowed up by a flooding sinkhole.
Domino's is closing up shop in Italy.
The best thing that could have happened to them.
They came to the land of pizza.
And they injected cheese into the crust.
Well, they're lucky they didn't get the death penalty, you know? Prices last month were 8.5% higher than they were a year ago, but there are signs that the cost of goods is starting to stabilize.
And not a minute too soon, because American families have been hit hard by high prices. Even wealthier families. Case in point, richer people are eating more at Applebee's and IHOP. Well, of course they are. Have you ever had a deep-fried mozzarella stick? I'm happily married, but that's my hall pass.
This morning's eye opener is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle insurance.
I say, have you ever had a pancake at IHOP? They're very good. Light and fluffy. Yes, they're very good.
Moons over my hammies. They write songs about those. Sorry, I'd study a little bit more. We have a big show for you, and an important show. Some stage of life news, an important warning for Americans helping elderly friends or relatives. If you've moved one of this friend or relative into a nursing home, those nursing homes, the caregivers, may be able to actually come after you to pay the bills, even though the homes are not supposed to be able to do that. It's supposed to be against the law. We're going to hear from two people who say they were sued even after they made it clear to the homes they could not pay.
Just doesn't seem right, Tony. Plus, we have a truly inspiring story, a lesson in trust. David Begnaud saddles up for a ride with a champion show jumper. Here's the catch, though. She is blind. You will not want to miss this story.
I can't imagine getting out of the plane and not seeing the guy.
Is that David riding too?
Yeah, he's also a writer. I
didn't know that.
did not know it myself.
All right, look forward to that. We're going to begin with former President Trump's growing legal problems and the furious response. And furious is a word from him and his supporters. Now, sources tell CBS News that Trump's allies are preparing for, quote, political warfare against his opponents in Congress and law enforcement ahead of the midterm elections. The former president was questioned under oath in a New York civil case yesterday, and he asserted his legal right not to answer many times. Now, this follows Monday's FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago home. Robert Costa has the latest on the president's legal drama.
How do you feel, Mr. Trump? How do you feel?
Former President Trump Wednesday invoked the Fifth during a 4-hour videotape deposition in a New York State investigation into his business practices. New York State Attorney General Letitia James's office wrote that James will pursue the facts and the law wherever they may lead. Trump insisted he had no choice but to decline to answer questions and that he did nothing wrong. But taking the Fifth is something he has previously criticized.
If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says Trump's decision was understandable.
Any lawyer worth his or her salt would have told Donald Trump that it was essential for him to invoke his Fifth Amendment privilege.
Still, Trump faces other ongoing investigations. Criminal probe led by the Manhattan District Attorney into his businesses there. And a Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney on his efforts to overturn the state's 2020 election results. Meanwhile, Trump and GOP allies continue to lash out at the FBI over its search of his Florida home earlier this week.
Look, this is the DOJ run amok.
Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry spoke out last night about the FBI seizing his cell phone Tuesday. His lawyer says he is not the target of the probe.
Now, the president's house was raided Monday. You think they're linked?
Right.
I think all of this is linked.
Trump-appointed FBI Director Christopher Wray declined to comment on the Trump search, but had this to say about the recent rise of threats against the Justice Department.
Again, violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter what anybody's upset about.
The Florida judge who signed off on the FBI warrant has been facing a wave of violent threats on right-wing social media where users have published his personal information and threatened his family.
But what a time to be alive. There's so much chatter on the streets about everything. But what do you think all this means for the president's mounting legal troubles and his potential to run for 2024? He certainly is doing a lot of teasing that he's leaning in that direction.
The chatter publicly in the Republican Party, Gail, is that they're all rallying around the former president's side. They're excited in the sense that they can have political warfare against the FBI and the Justice Department. But privately, based on my reporting, it's a different picture. This is a Republican Party that knows the former president in many ways is damaged because of these investigations, because of what happened on January 6th. And a lot of them privately feel like Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader. Wait and see. We don't know the full scope of evidence here and where this is exactly going to lead.
I think both sides need to wait and see, don't you, Bob? Everybody's speculating, everybody's drawing conclusions when we really don't know what they have. True?
That's right. I mean, so many people right now are making conclusions, not knowing exactly what the FBI has in terms of archival materials they've taken from Mar-a-Lago and what the DOJ's grand jury is doing on so many other fronts. I have a motto as a reporter: assume nothing. We don't know where this goes.
Yeah. Although it's pretty remarkable when Senator Tim Scott was sitting right where you are, and he made that same point. He was beat up pretty badly in conservative media by some of his colleagues in Congress. Bob, great to see you.
Good to see you in person.
Yeah, indeed. All right, turning to a story overseas. A member of Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard is charged in an alleged plot to murder former National Security Advisor John Bolton. The Justice Department says that Bolton, of course a longtime critic of Iran, was targeted after a U.S. attack killed a top Iranian general in 2020. Senior investigative correspondent Catherine Harris spoke with Bolton about the case. Catherine, what's going here? Good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Multiple sources tell CBS News this was a serious plot. The Iranian defendant was not a rogue actor, and the threat extends to other former government officials.
Investigators say the alleged murder-for-hire plot began to take shape after this drone strike in Iraq assassinated top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani over 2 years ago. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton quickly tweeted, "Congratulations to all involved." Iran vowed retaliation. The Justice Department is now charging Shahram Poursafi, a member of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, with offering $300,000 to murder Bolton.
What did the FBI say about the serious nature of the threat?
They were able to confirm that it was potentially an effort either to kidnap me or assassinate me.
According to newly released law enforcement records, Poursafi, working from Iran, hired operatives to surveil and then eliminate Bolton, even texting pictures of cash promising handsome payments. Separately, sources told CBS News another target of the Iranian plot included former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. What Poursafi didn't know is that he was dealing with an FBI confidential source.
But while this is done,
with the secrecy.
Bill Evanina ran counterintelligence operations during the Trump administration.
The threat does not go away at all to Ambassador Bolton or any other official that Iran has their targets on.
With talks to revive the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran, Bolton warned the White House against engagement.
Well, I think there's no doubt that there are other plots, and not just against former government officials, against innocent American civilians. It tells you the very nature of the regime in Tehran, that this is the kind of terrorist regime they
I
are.
think the United States is serious.
Bolton now has the same level of Secret Service protection he had while working at the White House. Iran denies any involvement.
Catherine, thank you. Now to the investigation into a massive explosion in a southern Indiana neighborhood that killed at least 3 people. The blast yesterday damaged 39 homes. Fire official says 11 of them are inhabitable. The explosion happened in Evansville, which is about 150 miles southwest of Indianapolis. Rescue teams say there could be more victims trapped in the wreckage. Nikki Batiste has the story.
Oh, boy, that was right.
Surveillance video captures the moment of the explosion, smoke billowing into the sky. Also caught on Ring video from across the street. Officials say debris was strewn 100 feet in all directions. This is the aftermath. 2 people confirmed killed in the house that exploded, another in the home next door.
We have 8 different agencies on scene, including alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. The cause is still under investigation.
CBS News obtained these photos from a man living across the street from the explosion. They show not only what's left of the houses that were destroyed, but the impact the blast had inside his own home. Dozens of homes suffered extensive damage. Another nearby resident, Drew Strader, shot this video and says he feels lucky to be alive.
I was just hanging out on the couch, watching some TV, and window come in right behind me. And blue glass on my hair.
Some of the damaged homes were so unstable, search and rescue efforts had to be called off overnight.
The structures aren't safe to enter, so there may be somebody still in there.
The local energy company says it's working closely with officials as they try to determine the cause of the blast. For CBS Mornings, I'm Nikki Batiste.
Pictures are terrifying. Drivers could see more relief at the pump after the national average for gas fell below $4 this morning. According to AAA, the national average for regular is $3.99 a gallon. That is down almost 70 cents from a month ago, and more than $1 lower than the all-time high of just over $5. Did you get all that we hit back in June?
We have some extraordinary video showing the impact of drought and downpours around the country. Take a look at the intense swirling flames and thick smoke from this fire tornado during a wildfire near Los Angeles, which has been bone dry for months. That is some scary stuff. And the rainstorm in Chattanooga, Tennessee left cars underwater. Joining us now is meteorologist Stephanie Abrams with our partners at the Weather Channel. Steph, it seems like it's too much water or too little no matter where you go.
Sometimes it's just wind.
It's a story of the have and the have-nots, and we can give you another example in Washington, D.C., where they had rainfall rates of about 2 inches an hour yesterday. They had big-time flooding in and around the district. That's about a half month's worth of rain in an hour. Now, today, if they were to get rainfall, and they could, it would only take about a half inch of rain in 1 hour to cause flooding, and it's not just D.C. Death Valley is another example. Last week, we had 1.46 inches of rain in a matter of 3 hours. You know, for the entire year, they average about 2 inches of rain. So we got nearly an entire year's worth of rain in just a matter of hours. Of course, topography is going to play a role in that as well. We'll see more monsoon rainforest here, especially around the Four Corners. So we could see some heavier downpours for you here. And I know that an inch or two doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about the desert Southwest, that is a lot. Now, remember, you can watch the Weather Channel on cable or live on your favorite TV streaming devices. And Nate, it does look like the Southwest monsoon is going to remain active as we head into next week.
It seems like Mother Nature can't decide between 2 extremes. Stephanie Abrams, thank you.
I know it.
Another bus with migrants on board arrived in Washington, D.C. this morning as Texas Governor Greg Abbott continues to send thousands of migrants to cities run by Democrats. Abbott and New York City Mayor Eric Adams, as a result of this, are now in a bitter feud, with the Texas governor saying the policy is in response to President Biden's immigration policies, and Adams countering that Texas is using innocent people as political pawns in his view. Nancy Chan has more.
As 3 buses arrived in New York City from Texas Wednesday, they carried nearly 100 people in search of a home, including this 38-year-old man from Venezuela, saying, "I was very tired and stressed during the trip." Volunteers like John Torres and his wife Tama Rivera were there to greet them.
Something that at least help.
Governor Greg Abbott's office says Texas has sent more than 6,600 asylum seekers who've already been processed and released by the Department of Homeland Security to Washington, D.C. and New York since April, he says, to alleviate stress on border cities.
They cannot handle the overwhelming number of illegal immigrants coming across the border. One way of assisting them is by removing those illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. or New York.
But New York Mayor Eric Adams calls it horrific as the city opens 11 additional shelters to meet the demand.
If his ancestors were treated the way he's treated these asylum seekers and migrants, then he would not be where he is right now.
Asylum seekers like Joanna, who fled Venezuela with her children earlier this year. They spent many long hours on a bus from Texas to D.C. last month. Joanna says the sacrifice was worth it.
What Governor Abbott is doing is using our clients as pawns.
Catherine Cliff, a staff attorney at the Legal Aid Society, says Abbott's plan is creating a dire situation.
I think it's traumatizing. You know, it's one thing for clients to come to New York City because that's where they want to be, but to send families and individuals who do not want to be here and then they have to figure out how to get where they really want to go is dehumanizing.
For CBS Mornings, Nancy Chen, New York.
There's been a stunning new development in the war in Ukraine. Huge blasts at a Russian airbase appear to have destroyed a number of Russian warplanes. That's according to the satellite photos anyway. The explosion earlier this week happened in Crimea, the Russian-controlled territory in southern Ukraine. Charlie D'Agata has more from the front lines.
The massive series of explosions at the airbase in Crimea has sent shockwaves far beyond the Russian-occupied peninsula. New satellite images appear to show deep craters and scorched earth, with the Ukrainian government claiming at least 8 Russian warplanes destroyed. The blast sent stunned beachgoers well over 100 miles from the closest front line, fleeing for safety. A deep strike for Ukrainian forces, says retired U.S. Marine intelligence officer Hal Kempfer.
And frankly, that changes the front across the board. And if they can continue the momentum, if they can continue to do deep strikes, if they can continue to make gains across the Kirchhoff Plaza, they might be able to push all the way across that southern flank.
As a direct response to the assault on that airbase, Russians retaliated, increased shelling and missile attacks on towns and villages like this one, according to local commander Roman Kulik. With an American flag on his uniform, he told us how Western-supplied weapons saved his soldiers.
So you were running out of weapons? Yes, yes.
And so the howitzers are out.
Yes.
How bad was it?
Really bad. It was a catastrophic situation.
Catastrophic.
Yes.
But it has been a brutal back and forth along a battered front line in the south. This children's playground bears the scars of fighting in a virtually abandoned village trapped in a no man's land between the furthest point that the Russians have been able to advance and Ukrainian forces determined to hold on to this territory. 76-year-old Anna Sheppel is one of few residents left.
Oh my gosh. In the wall.
What did you think when you came back to this? I thought I would have a stroke. She said I was paralyzed. I wish that the Russians felt what I felt at that moment, every minute, every hour. For CBS Mornings, Charlie D'Agata, near Mykolaiv, Ukraine.
Charlie D'Agata, thank you. Coming up, an investigation you'll want to hear. How some nursing homes are suing the friends and family of patients, claiming they have to pay the patients overdue bills. But first, it's 7:18. Time to check your local weather.
The sun is shining this morning. The humidity's down a little bit, along with the temperatures. It's 68 in St. Louis, not bad. The winds are calm right now. The humidity will climb a little bit, as will temperatures. Yesterday was 85, today up to about 87, but sunny skies, and we'll burn through this morning fog that we're seeing. 83 tomorrow, and then, looks kind of toasty over the weekend. Upper 80s on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Plenty of sunshine.
More and more cat parents are feeding Tastefuls from Blue Buffalo because it's tasty and healthy. And now Blue Tastefuls comes in single-serve portions. Just snap it, peel it, pop it, chop it. Pick up Tastefuls singles and find out why one taste is all it takes.
Welcome to Allstate, where the safer you drive, the more you save. Like Rachel here,
How am I looking?
the most cautious driver we got.
But there?
Looking good. Safe driving and DriveWise saves you 40% with Allstate.
I like to boost it. My vitamins can boost it. I like to boost it. We like
It's an amazing vitamin boost.
Secondhand smoke caused me to have asthma attacks, infections, and lung damage, and I never smoked.
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT now for help getting free medication.
I had an incredible story you have to see to believe. Only one person can tell it to you. David Begnaud is here to take us on a ride that, David, you say is all about trust.
Let me tell you something. I couldn't believe this story when I first heard it. Can you imagine being on the back of a horse and soaring over a jump without being able to see? One woman doesn't just do it. She is a winner in the competition ring doing it. You're going to meet her and her seeing eye horse, as she calls it. Coming up on CBS Mornings.
This portion of CBS Mornings sponsored by Activia, with billions of probiotics.
feeling supported, led by authority. This is Activia Plus. CBD no need to stay head over heels, get a husband. Activia Plus with nutrients to help support your immune system. Start with Activia. Your gut is where it all begins.
Which means cleaning with a mop and bucket is such a hassle. Well, I switched to Swiffer Wet Jet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one that absorbs dirt and grime deep inside, and it helps prevent streaks and haze. Stop cleaning, start Swiffering.
Your shipping manager left to find themselves, leaving you lost. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Indeed Instant Match instantly delivers quality candidates matching your job description. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
My moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, the burning, the itching,
The stinging. My skin was no longer mine.
Emerge Tremfiant. With Tremfiant, most people saw 90% clear skin at 16 weeks. The majority of people saw 90% clear skin even at 5 years. Tremfiant is the first medication of its kind, also approved for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. And it's 6 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge Tremfiant with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
Meet Google Pixel 6a, the smarter phone that can see in the dark with night sight, fix your photos with Magic Eraser, and photograph all skin tones accurately with Real Time. Google Pixel 6a. Switch it up and get the all-new Google Pixel 6a, all for a smarter price.
Beautiful knows a full life doesn't just happen. It's a choice to take a swing or take that big leap to taste all life has to offer. Because a joyful life is a beautiful life.
Before discovering Nexium 24-hour to treat her frequent heartburn, Claire could only imagine enjoying chocolate cake. Now she can have her cake and eat it too. Nexium 24-hour stops acid before it starts for all day, all night protection. Can you imagine 24 hours without heartburn?
Now's the time to rethink school.
Well, Quincy wanted me to find out exactly what Mr. Brady had been drinking before he died, so I'm conducting tests. Wait a minute. You bought all this? Yes, sir. I mean, the county did. I filled out all the appropriate forms. You did? Yes, sir. Well, now, I don't imagine you use more than a few drops from each bottle, would you? Well, at most. Well, what happens to the rest? We've paid for it. I haven't given it much thought. Maybe Quincy will come up with some idea. I'm sure he will. Oh, well.
He has shown the same distress with you.
I haven't told him all aspects.
Well, we already heard about the Tiffany bracelet.
Yeah.
So I also heard from Mr. Daniels that you were the one that called the police.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Did you tell your son you called the police?
Honestly, I didn't know we were going to be here. It never came up. He never asked me.
You didn't know he had brought the lawsuit, or he was going to bring a lawsuit against Mr. Daniels?
I found this out very late, very recently.
So how was the party room? Let me ask your son. How was the party room?
Well, the cops showed up,
Right.
which is usually an immediate disaster for a party. Everyone wasn't in the mood to party afterwards. Everyone was very tense. And it only lasted, the mariachi band had to leave like 15 minutes later. They were hired for an
Well, you
hour.
must not have hired them that long. The party was going to start at 4. Around 4:05, the cops come. 4:10, they gone. You still got 50 minutes with the mariachi.
It was 4:30 when the cops showed up.
But what was going on between 4 and 4:30?
We were wondering where she was. She walked into this man's home, and we were wondering.
She walked into the home of her very good friend and companion, Mr. Daniels.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. Promotional consideration provided by shingles. Some describe it as pulsing electric shocks or sharp stabbing pains. This painful blistering rash can disrupt your life for weeks. A pain so intense you could miss out on family time. Mesothelioma?
Difícil? Not difícil. There's never enough time. Who's gonna teach you?
Hasta pronto. So, Bubble, it's kind of like if Senorita Flores is in the form?
Kind of. And the best part is helping make new friends like you.
Language for life. Go to babbel.com and try it for free.
John McEwen just sat down, founding member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Now, solo work. John McEwen and the Circle Band. As a matter of fact, he's playing the International Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame that Saturday in Owensboro, Kentucky. We're going to talk about that. But the heart of our conversation will revolve around roll it, Charlie. Will the Circle be unbroken? The making of a landmark album, 50th anniversary. John played the opera this past weekend. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Will the Circle be unbroken? John McEwen, straight ahead.
I was standing by my window on one cold and cloudy day when I saw that hearse come rolling for to carry my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken by and by? There's a prayer all the way in the sky, in the sky. I said, here's that undertaker, please drive slow. For this lady you're carrying, Lord, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by? There's a letter on the way in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Close behind her, tried to hold and be free, but I could not hide my sorrow when they laid her friend. Fill the circle, the unbroken. Bye, bye, there's a better all the way. It's a star in the sky. Home was lonesome. It's my mother, she was gone. All my brothers and sisters crying. There's a lonesome sad home. We're the circle, the unbroken. Bye, bye.
Look at that. Prevention. How's professional cure?
Good morning.
I know.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So we're back with some video proof.
Oh my God.
What we mentioned off the top of the show here, Savannah, racing in the Studio 1A with just moments of distraction. You had a bit of an alarm clock.
I know. You know what's crazy about that? Wasn't even an hour ago. That was like 35 minutes ago. No hair, no makeup, just a big old mess. Rolling in.
People always ask us, on morning television, do you oversleep? Not very often.
No, not very often, I guess, but yeah. I can't believe it. It's a marathon. So happy to be here. Good morning. 7:30 now. It's Thursday morning. President Biden signed legislation yesterday expanding medical care for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. The White House says that bipartisan bill, known as the PACT Act, is the most significant health benefit in more than 3 decades.
This law is long overdue, but we finally got it done together. And I don't want to hear the press tell me Democrats, Republicans can't work together. We got it done, and we got it done together.
The Senate passed that legislation. It was an 86-11 vote last week after Republicans had initially blocked its passage the week before.
A Florida man pled guilty yesterday to attacking police officers during the January 6th Capitol riot. According to court documents, 50-year-old Matthew Council barged into a line of Capitol police officers trying to push them back and created an opening for others to get through. Council was arrested at the Capitol. Matthew Council now faces up to 16 years in prison at a sentencing hearing in November.
A follow-up now on a story we've been following for several weeks. Sesame Place has announced its employees will now have to go through diversity and inclusion training. The announcement comes following a $25 million class action lawsuit alleging multiple incidents of discrimination. It comes after backlash surrounding this viral video of a costume character seemingly snugging 2 young black girls. The theme park says all employees will be required to participate in the training.
We turn now to some new developments in a case that has been in the spotlight for 2 decades now. The murders of Lacey Peterson and her unborn son.
Her husband, Scott Peterson, was convicted in 2004, but today a judge is set to hear final arguments before deciding if Peterson should be granted a new trial.
Erin McLaughlin has been following the story for us. She's got the latest developments. Hi, Erin. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. You may remember last year a judge decided to reduce Scott Peterson's sentence from death to life without parole. Now his defense team is hoping for the case to be retried entirely, claiming they're proof of juror misconduct. This morning, convicted killer Scott Peterson is back. His legal team set to present oral arguments one last time before a judge determines if trial. And Connor.
Scott is hopeful. Scott's hopeful. It's been a very, very long journey, and he's hopeful that he will be granted a new trial.
The push comes after the defense team discovered a juror on the case may have lied on a pretrial questionnaire. The defense alleging juror Rochelle Nice failed to let the court know she herself had been a victim of domestic violence when she was pregnant, and that in 2000 she filed a restraining order in which she said she really fears for her child. With her history unknown at the time, Nice went on to serve as juror number 7 and helped convict Scott Peterson. Earlier this year, Nice testified that she didn't disclose her past during jury selection because she did not consider herself to be a victim of domestic abuse. Still, Peterson's defense team has argued Nice's history led to bias toward a conviction.
If in fact she had been a victim of domestic violence, whether or not she perceived herself to be, that would have been relevant information for the court to know.
Lacey's family declined a request for comment, but in a court hearing last December, Lacey's mother addressed Peterson directly, telling him 2 things that will never change. Lacey and Connor will always be dead, and you will always be their murderer. Nearly 2 decades ago, the months-long search for 27-year-old Lacey captivated the nation. Peterson's arrest came after Lacey's remains washed on shore miles when his last 18 years in prison. Scott Peterson may be tried once again for the murder he claims he did not commit. The judge has 90 days to decide if Scott Peterson should get a new trial. If that happens, his family tells us they are confident he will not be convicted again. Savannah.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. And we're joined now by today legal analyst, Lisa. Good morning. So, first of all, I mean, this is a very high bar. It's hard to get a new trial. How likely do you think this is?
It's a very high bar, as you say. It's not enough to point out that a juror made a mistake on a form, which happened in this just personal life. It has to have been almost intentional on her part, and then significantly, that would have had to affect the outcome, the verdict in this case. So you see how high a bar it is when you isolate one juror and ask, shouldn't you have filled out this form more completely?
So, but he's entitled to this hearing, and they're getting into whether that very issue, whether or not this was an unintentional act by the juror leaving off the information. And then another question is whether or not she was in fact biased.
No, he was
Human experience. Cut all that out, we wouldn't have juries. So the issue here really isn't just was her life experience relevant, but then once seated on the jury in that closed room, was her bias, if she had a bias, one that affected the outcome of the jury? Did she influence other jurors in an unfair way to Scott Peterson?
And you just mentioned it, but that the final hurdle is really the hardest, that even if she were biased, even if the judge says, okay, you intentionally left off this information and you came in there with a bias, there's that final hurdle that they would have to cross, which is, and that made the difference in the case. But for that, he would have been acquitted.
So back we go to the evidence that the judge has access to, and you look at the totality that got Scott Peterson convicted. Again, Savannah, very high bar, totally within his rights. We'll have to see if the judge buys the story.
Okay, and the judge has, 90 days to a ruling. Okay, Lisa, thank you very much.
Sure. When we come back, a standing ovation and a few tears overnight at the first stop on Serena Williams' farewell tour. Her emotional message to fans as the tennis icon starts to wind down a legendary career.
But up next, popular and pricey, the jolt being felt by coffee lovers over the rising cost of that daily cup. Right after this.
Well, hello.
Rita has a secret.
You want to tell us what's going on? I happen to be a 30-year-old woman. I moved out, and when I came out, I was in this life.
Now she's living it up.
How often do you meet for your wine club? Every day. Sometimes we spend the weekend.
Before the truth comes out.
You are so R-E-A-L.
How are we supposed to grow old on the fence of the air if you're 50 years out of me? Nobody wants to be old. Sure they do. Those 30 years you skip, those are the good years.
Mac and Rita, rated PG-13.
We should tell everyone.
I've already told them.
$30? That's awesome.
It's their best unlimited price ever. For $30 a line, I'm switching now.
The network you want, the price you love, only from Verizon.
How did Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plump, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious cereal? It took a lot of brainstorming. Get it? Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch. 2 scoops of delicious.
Think Dad's searching doggy diet plans for Josie? No, he's switching his choice cashback category to home improvement, so he earns more on a new doggy door. Extra large.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
I brought in Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar. Enter Powered by Protein Challenge for a chance to win big.
Ever. Love
Liberty tool in your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. And if anyone objects to this marriage, Kevin, no, not today. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Make your home totally you. I did with Wayfair. Sometimes I'm a homebody. Can never have too many pillows. Sometimes I'm all business. Woo! I'm a mama 24/7. Here with her. I'm a bit of a foodie. Yes!
There, you got just what I need.
Metaportal Go. Look professional. Even if you don't feel it. Metaportal, the smart video calling device. Of course, it makes work from home work for you.
Migraine attacks? You can't always avoid triggers like stress. Qlipta can help prevent migraine attacks. You can't not outside. That's why Qlipta helps what's going on inside. Qlipta is a pill. Gets right to work to prevent migraine attacks and keeps them away over time. Qlipta blocks CGRP, a protein believed to be a cause of migraine attacks. Qlipta is a preventive treatment for episodic migraine. Most common side effects are nausea, constipation, and tiredness. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Qlipta.
7:40 Consumer Confidential time. We've been focusing on stories that impact the bottom line around this time every morning.
Yes, so today we're all about that morning staple for many Americans, coffee. In fact, the latest figures show consumption 2-decade high.
In fact, there's a pretty good chance you're drinking a cup of Joe while you watch this right now. Unfortunately, like most everything else, the cost of that cup of coffee, it's also way up. NBC Sam Brock joins us now to break it all down. Sam, what's going on with coffee now?
You know what? It's like everything is going up. Everyone feels that way, Craig. And we start our coffee routine in the morning at 4 or 5 a.m. For most people, maybe slightly more normal hours, 6 or 7. But the point is, it is essential 2 out of every 3 Americans have at least 1 cup of coffee every single day. It's now about $4 for a regular cup. A specialty like this latte, $5 a cup. If you extrapolate that over the course of a week, you're looking at about $30 per week. Of course, we all have more than 1 cup of coffee per day, making this a very expensive habit. Whether you like it hot, iced, or even frozen, enjoying a cup of coffee is how millions of Americans start their day. But even though so many have a whole lot of love for the bean, it's becoming increasingly costly to get that morning caffeine rush.
The price of everything is going up, but I normally drink coffee at home, unless special occasions.
I know it is.
In North Dallas, Brittany Willis is a franchise owner of a PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. She says everything from cooking oil to cups now costs more, pushing coffee prices up too.
Inflation is really challenging. I've been very hesitant to increase my prices, but you get to a point as a business owner where you have to say, am I looking to sustain and continue to offer this product?
The National Coffee Association reports about 2/3 of Americans drink a cup of Joe every day, the highest figure in decades. But many average Joes do appear to be adjusting to new circumstances.
Coffee now is not something of an everyday going out, it's more of a treat.
And here's why. It's now more than $4 for a regular coffee, 9% higher than this time last year. For a specialty cup, that's more than $5, up 7%, according to industry data, which means trouble's brewing for budgets. Necessities like food and gasoline have already eaten into discretionary spending. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz jolting investors in June.
It's hard to be optimistic unless there is a plan to get inflation under control.
While the inflation rate is slowing slightly, high prices are still a major issue for everyday consumers. The cost of food at home up 1.3% in July, while coffee nearly tripled that figure in the same month. Businesses like Brittany's hoping high prices don't grind away demand.
Coffee as a whole continues to grow, and we're actually seeing sales increases as a result. I mean, what's better than a warm or cold cup of coffee?
So for those who are thinking, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to skip the coffee shop for now, drink at home. I'll save money that way because we talked about the fact, guys, the coffee's up 7 to 9%. Instant coffee, like these Keurig cups, are up 17%. At-home coffee, according to the latest CPI, up 20%, more than double what this coffee is. So what we're seeing right now is a trend of people who are working from home. They come to the coffee shops, they enjoy the experience, spend all day here, and maybe spend less money than they would brewing on their stove. So just let that percolate a little bit, simmer just for a little while. I'm not going to say something really cheesy like it's smoking me crazy. But you get the gist of this. Coffee is definitely out of
We're so proud of you, Sam.
That was probably the 10th pun in Sam's
You've gone full Today Show now, my friend.
I was going for a record.
I love it. Now are you proud?
There were a couple of lows. Thank you. So here's the thing. I mean, I think people, you pull back on food, maybe you won't drive as much. But when it comes to coffee,
oh no, forget it.
People, they'll pay whatever.
Maybe this is now the time to go back to work and steal some of those K-cups.
That's
right.
Save some money that way.
Are you talking to our colleagues?
No! Would never suggest that.
By the way, looking ahead to tomorrow's Considered Confidential, we're going to make your back to shopping a little bit more affordable. Vicky Wynn is going to show you where to find the best deals and what you should be stocking up on to save more in the long run.
All right, Al, what do you got in the forecast?
Well, we got the celestial doubleheader.
Let's go.
Okay, let's show you what's happening. We've got the Perseid meteor shower, the peak tonight. The best viewing is going to be after midnight. Wherever you've got those clear skies, typically we're talking 60 to 100 meteors per hour. That's the first part of it. The second part, we've got the last supermoon of the summer, the full sturgeon moon tonight, called the sturgeon moon because around they said this. It's the best to catch the great sturgeons. That was a fantastic fish. The only problem, because of the full moon, that moonlight's probably going to outshine a lot of the meteors. So, a little bit. We take it away. Here's where you could get to see it. From Portland to San Francisco, some breaks in the clouds, clear skies around the Great Lakes, down through the Central Plains, cloudy though down through the Southeast Y. We've got that frontal system pushing down, so that's going to be bringing some more storms near this front. High rainfall rates. There is a flood threat in the Gulf Coast for today, right on into tomorrow. The best chance of storms tomorrow, stretching from Texas on into South Carolina along this front. Heaviest rain from New Orleans all the way into the panhandle of Florida. Slow-moving front with those flood threats. We're going to be watching that very closely. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
746. Good morning to you. Numbers are climbing out of the 60s this morning. Had a few 50s down in Arnold this morning. 59. You're at 60 now. Florissant, you're at 66. Edwardsville, 63. And Cahokia Heights, 64 degrees. Our humidity levels into the weekend stay low, but by Sunday it turns more muggy and temperatures start to climb as well. Here's your 7-day forecast. 88 today, 84 tomorrow. More humid and hotter by Sunday. Storms next week.
This Today Show weather update is brought to you by your local Quality Ford dealers.
And that's your latest forecast.
All right, Al, thank you. Coming up, what's in a name? Well, we're going to reveal the final contenders for the Cincinnati Zoo's new baby hippo. Plus, how you can help pick the winner right after this.
Politely means you can be you, and I can be you. It's something that makes people feel special. Everyone belongs.
The City Custom Cash Card automatically adjusts to earn you more cash back in your top eligible spend category. You don't have to keep tabs on rotating categories.
This is the only rotating I care about.
Or activate anything to earn. Your cash back automatically adjusts for you.
Can I get a cucumber water?
Earn 5% cash back that automatically adjusts to your top eligible spend category up to $500 spent each billing cycle with the City Custom Cash Card.
I love it.
Who's on it with Jardians?
We're managing type 2 diabetes and heart risk.
We're hitting the trails between meetings.
and putting the brakes on fried foods.
Jardiance is a once-daily pill that not only lowers A1C, it goes beyond to reduce the risk of cardiovascular death for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease. And Jardiance may help you lose some weight.
Jardiance may cause serious side effects, including ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration that can lead to sudden worsening of kidney function, and genital yeast or urinary tract infections. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. And don't take it if you're on dialysis. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
A once-daily pill that goes beyond lowering A1C?
We're on it. We're on it. We're on it with Jardiance.
Ask your doctor about Jardiance.
What happens to your body language when you use Dove Dry Spray? It shows. Try Dove Dry Spray. Our weightless formula with 1/4 moisturizers is effective and kind to skin, leaving you feeling instantly dry and confident.
Kids, one year they want all dinosaur stuff. The next, campus, llamas. So save money shopping back to school on Amazon. You sure that's on cable? Yep. What do you say?
I'll remember that chapter of my life forever. We laughed. We cried. We protected that progressive home in Outer London day and night. We were all of us dazzling. Like knights sworn to protect our kingdom. We knew it wouldn't last forever, but that's what made it special.
I know we'll be back tomorrow, right? Yeah, but it'll never be today again.
Natural sources, raw materials, and making shoes and offering now.
We are back. It is 7:50, and folks, we've got some big news to share about the Cincinnati Zoo's new adorable baby hippo. This morning, we're revealing the final contenders for his name.
Okay, so it's time. After a lot of online submissions from all over the world, the list has been narrowed down to just 2 choices. Ready? Right now. There you go, Fritz and Ferguson. I love them. Which one do you like?
Those are great names for him.
What do you think?
Fritz?
I like Ferguson. It's kind of it's a little nerdy. I wonder, do we know why those names were the
People
final?
voted. There were more than 90,000 people voted.
Okay.
And I guess there's an active lobby for Fritz and Ferguson.
So cute.
You know, Fritz
He's
now
very
is a little
handy.
tiny.
For
But
that.
it's older.
Fritz, I mean, you can't lose. Those are 2 great names.
Yeah.
What do you think, Craig? Because you have a lot of opinions about names.
You know, I've learned my lesson on that. I'm going to go with either Fritz or Ferguson.
Ferguson, I know, it's cute. Okay, well, guys, you can vote, actually, today.com, for your favorite. And if you join us on Monday, we're going to check in with all about Can't Get Enough Hippo this summer, and we'll find out what the winning name. I know.
Today exclusive.
Right?
Oh, there's a show. Sharks versus hippos.
Oh my gosh, well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? No, we got hippos. They're adorable, but they're fierce creatures.
Right.
But
not little Fritz. Not Fritz. No. Fritz is safe.
No, Fritz is
Shut
adorable.
up.
We got
Shoot
Fritz.
the guy. But hopefully, hey, I ain't playing. I'll shoot at one of them in the wild. Could be a different
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's right, though.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I know. This is what happens when they give us like 80 seconds to go. Okay.
It is insane. This being dropped by the legendary Steve Martin about his future in Hollywood. Let's talk about that.
All right, and then we've got a really revealing new look at the highs and lows of Princess Diana's life, a life in the public eye. We've got a sneak peek at a new documentary. It's getting